All right. Well, I see it's 1:30. We have a quorum present, so I will call this meeting of the Jefferson Transit Authority Board to order at 1:30 p.m. on Tuesday, June 16th. Let's start with some roll call. We'll start online let's start in the room since Vivian just stepped away.
John Nowak, Port Townsend School District here.
Brett will be Port Townsend City Council.
Heidi Eisenhower, Jefferson County,
Greg
senior citizen.
Greg Brotherton, Jefferson County, and now we'll go online. You want to say hi, David?
David Faber, City of Port Townsend.
And Heather?
Heather Dudley Nolet, Jefferson County Commissioner.
And Vivian?
Vivian, Coral City School Board.
All right, full strength. Nicole, you want to take us through staff and our guests from Bassetti as well as Shannon?
Sure. I guess I'll start online. We have Jordan Keel from Bassetti Architects, and he will be joining us for the Haynes Place redesign discussion. And then we can.
Terry Matthews, Finance Manager and HR Manager. Amanda Watkins, Clerk of the Board.
Nicole Gauthier.
Sarah Peck, Mobility Manager. Kelly Olson, Marketing Manager.
Desiree Williams, Maintenance Manager.
Amy Hall, Fixed Route Operations Manager.
Jamie Brooke, Grants and Procurement Coordinator.
All right. Oh, Shannon?
Oh my.
Thompson, Parker, owner's rep.
All right. Thanks all for being here. So there were no written public comments prior to the meeting. Does any member of the public wish to provide public comment at this time? You can hit the raise hand button if you would like to provide, or *9 if you're on the phone, if you'd like to provide comment.
There are no hands up online.
Okay. With that, I will close public comment and we'll move on to the approval of the agenda. The additions or changes? There's no objection. The agenda will be approved as presented. All right. Hearing no objection, the agenda is approved. And we'll go on to finance reports. Our first one, well, our second one. You did
Second
one more.
one.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, second one from Carrie.
But I'll lead it, yes.
Take it away.
So we're catching up with the financials since there's been nobody in place. We hopefully soon we'll have a full staff in my department. We have an AP specialist hopefully coming on soon. But as we talked about last meeting, we're still seeing sales tax trending down. And so that affects our budget, of course. The average is 6% less than what we've estimated. And an overall change for the year so far, we're down 9% on sales tax. So we're watching it. It's definitely a negative trend for the first quarter. But having said that, we're moving into our fiscal year at this point with 33% of our budget. It's our mark on our financials. And technically, JTA is only operating at 27% of the budget. So we are under budget, which is fantastic, especially since we have a negative trend right now with sales tax. The operating expenses right now, we're 6.5% under our budget. We've been watching things as they come through and being ahead of the curve, I would say, knowing that we might have to make some adjustments later in the year. Everything, of course, is fully funded within our budget, so it's within our reserves. And moving forward, we're just trying to track things and stay on track with what we've estimated. Some of our capital activities, we're still moving forward with all of our stuff that was in place for the budget, which is the third bay, the Haynes Place, which we'll talk about later, and then facilities maintenance and IT updates. So overall, we're 6.5% under budget. Miscellaneous for April was 6.5 under, and for March was 5.7% under. And that's kind of a quick wrap up of what we're seeing. We haven't seen the next numbers for June yet, but we're hoping that maybe there's going to be a tick up now that we're back to summer. That's kind of where we're at. Any questions?
You got the handle. It feels like you're in the lane, Carrie. That's great.
I've got a quick question. So, since the biggest part of our expenses is salaries, is the fact that we're under budget kind of a reflection of us being understaffed, or are there other explanations?
Kind of a mix. So we're partially understaffed on drivers, but we're over on overtime for some of it.
Okay,
But it's kind of, we're kind of at a wash, I would say.
Okay.
So even though we have more people working, but our expenses are still under. I expect some of that to change. Right now, we've been kind of even with fuel too, something I'm watching, and electricity. So those are expenses that might go up
Yeah.
in the later part of the year. But for my department, definitely. I mean, we've been understaffed, so that's really helped.
Yeah.
But then that also means those of us that are there working, yeah. Not so much,
Some get
no, we're
overtime.
putting in more hours, yeah. But we're really just trying to watch what we spend for expenses.
Okay.
And I'm trying to keep track of that, and next month, I'm gonna go back to, we haven't had a handle on it yet because I've just gotten here, but we'll go back to getting all of our departments their monthly budget so they can also then track easier what's happening.
Well, appreciate the fiscal restraint. I think that's very helpful in these times. So, yeah.
Any other questions for Carrie before we move on? Okay, next up is the consent agenda, fairly beefy consent agenda. Are there any questions or concerns before we ask for a motion?
I had some questions about the TBP, but we're gonna be talking about that, right?
We are, yep.
I'll move.
Consent agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, moved by David, seconded by Heidi to approve the consent agenda as presented. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? All right, that is unanimous. Great, so we will get to the TDP. That's the last of our new business items, but first we're gonna start with the Haynes Place redesign. You want to tee that up, Nicole?
Yes, yeah. So we being staff, Barker, do you want to come join?
Sure, I can come up.
Barker Creek and Biscayne. We're very excited to kind of talk to the board today about the work we've been doing with regards to Haynes Place, and look and kind of thinking about that space, how it currently serves us, and what we're looking for in a park and ride moving forward, and how to better meet our needs and address some issues. So really excited to have Jordan here and Shannon here to kind of walk us through some renderings and just a site plan, and provide the board with an update of the work that we've been doing.
Would you like questions at the end or as we go through the presentation?
Oh, you can ask questions as we go, or open to that. If you just go ahead and give us a pause, we'll, just stop and then we'll pick right up where we left off. So, we've been working really hard on this site. That we've had our ups and downs on the site. We've been coordinating with city staff, and we're going to go through some of that, those obstacles today, and show you where we're at and where we're going. So, Jordan, I'm going to go ahead and let you kind of start the process, and please feel free to ask questions as we go. And as I always say, there are no dumb questions, so please go ahead and ask. Jordan.
Thanks, Shannon. Just to check, is my screen sharing working? I have a dual monitor and it's confusing over here.
It's good.
Looks good.
Okay, great. Find my mouse. Go to the next. There we go. So
Nope.
just
Lost you, Jordan, where we still see the first slide, the JTA board meeting.
oh,
Trying to see
Huh.
if maybe we're not seeing your presentation.
okay, let me share a different way. Thank you for speaking up. See here if I share this screen, and then is that better? Are you looking at a site plan?
Like,
Yeah,
there we go, yeah.
Site plan.
Now.
All right. Excellent. So just in terms of the status of this, what you see on the screen here is a site plan that we had developed as part of the preliminary study, thinking through with staff about how the site can get used and improved. Since then, we've met with the city as part of our pre-application process, gotten some feedback. We're planning to now take that and submit for land use by the end of this month. As part of that, we've done quite a bit of homework. We've gotten an environmental report which this site sits in a place that has a lot of environmental concerns. There's a neighboring wetland, there's a shoreline setback, there's some heron nesting areas. There's just a lot of things to consider there. We've got a traffic study complete and a geotechnical report, and it's not on the list. That should have been an arborist report as well. And then on top of that, of course, we've dug into the land use code and then previously issued SEPAs and conditional use permits to really make sure that we're on the right side of the regulations for the site. So we think we're in a pretty good position to get submitted here at the end of the month, and are eager to see what the comments we get back from the city will be.
Can I ask one question, Jordan?
Yep.
And maybe you're going to get to it. I'm happy to wait, but I know I've heard that we're talking about making the terminus of the Larry Scott Trail at the Park and Ride, and I'm wondering if that is the trail on the side, or how is that manifested in this site plan, if it's in your considerations?
I am not familiar with that aspect of this. Shannon, has that been part of the conversation with other members of my team?
So we've been in conversation with the Olympic Discovery Trail, with Mara Lee, and allowing parking for the trail here, but I have not heard that they would start anything here. I've heard that they're starting at Rotary Park.
Right.
Oh, really?
There's also
They're moving milepost 0 to
David, you seem excited.
I saw the port.
There's 3 start points. One of the spurs would be at the Park and Ride, the Haynes Place Transit Center. One would be at Rotary Park, and then down in the port as well. And then there's going to actually be another one out to a spur out to Fort Warden.
Okay.
So, David, are all of those? My understanding was milepost 0 was moving to the Rotary Park, though.
Oh, you are correct, yes. But there's a spur to Haynes Place Transit Center has been proposed.
Right.
Okay.
And as far as I understand, the way to Haynes Place would still be navigating the roads.
Oh.
So you would be navigating the roads, and then of course plenty of parking. Happy to have bike riders park and use our facility.
And ride the bus.
Yes, and ride the bus.
Yes, of course. We'll ride the bus there and take the trail.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Right. So this next slide is just to sort of illustrate some of the overlays that we're getting from our environmental consultant. We've got a wetland setback here, and we've got a shoreline setback. There is pavement you can see within that shoreline setback, so we're planning to be able to reuse that.
Sorry, I only see your face. I don't see what you're talking about.
Oh.
At the top of your screen, Vivian,
It's there now.
there's a toggle that gets you to what he's showing on the screen. We can see the screen, so.
Yeah, and I can see the environmental slide here as well, so.
Okay.
Yeah, Zoom changed their format, and you can toggle back and forth now.
I was
I have the same
talking.
problem on the project.
Should we give Vivian a minute?
Are you with us, Vivian?
No, but that's okay. I'll figure it out here.
Okay.
When I toggle, I get everybody or I get face.
Vivian, in the very, very top, there's, like there's the X fall all the way to the right, and then you kind of go left from there. There's a white rectangle with 3 little rectangles and next to it. If you click there, it's next to the right of the little pencil. That will give you the option to select side-by-side gallery, for example. That might help. It basically selects your view from there.
Right. Anyway, it's okay. I don't have the option, but that's.
All right, we'll keep working on it, Vivian. If you continue to struggle, we can take another moment. All right, but
Go ahead, Jordan.
Okay. Anyway, I just wanted to point out that we do have some pavement existing within that 200-foot shoreline setback that we are planning on essentially reusing. Probably not literally that exact slice of pavement, but replacing in kind within that setback. But we're very we're navigating these environmental overlays very thoughtfully and kind of right up to them, essentially.
And as he moves forward, I want you to just kind of see the dotted line in the middle. There's two parcels that we're dealing with.
Yeah, look at this, and then
I see.
so that first site plan I showed had a nice big huge radius on the end of this, and we've shortened that up and pushed this pavement down just a little bit to make sure that we're staying on the right side of those demarcations on the environmental report. But it still meets the goals of the project, which is to support multimodal transportation, enhance the overall user experience. We've added electric bus charging along this edge here. And then just ultimately really increasing safety. We need to separate pedestrians from vehicles, add site lighting. A big portion of locating the bus turnarounds and everything over here, as opposed to other areas of the site, is to be respectful of neighbors and be able to do that site lighting that we want to do. And then the addition of this building here in this position really helps it sort of act as a passive supervision element. There's lots of windows. There's, it'll be activated by offices. There's a break room for bus drivers, and just by having there be some presence of people on site on a regular basis, just offers that sort of sense of being watched and being, the site is being supervised. And then this is what it's looking like. So this is looking from 12th Street, looking up towards the wetland and the park.
And if we could have everyone notice that we have kept our heron
Yes,
in the circle. So
of course.
incorporated our heron.
There's a series of bike walkers and things of that network that are being kind of looked at, and trying to really enhance that multimodal transportation on the site.
Here, I
Yeah.
had a question too, I found the pictures. It looks like there's only 2 benches there. Is that right?
Well, that picture shows 3, but
In this area, there's fewer benches. And
Well-
honestly, we haven't quite gotten into the whole
I
how
was
many
gonna say-
benches there should be. So if you have feedback on that, that'd be really useful.
Yeah, there needs to be at least as many as there is now. It's overflowing.
Okay.
And look, and this image is really facing the bus loop, and so where the majority of the seating and passenger amenities would be, not here, but
be on that left
Over
eye.
here.
Over by the building. Yeah.
Yeah, so we were looking here at this sort of area, but the real action is happening over here.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And we haven't got really, you'll notice that the site doesn't have really any amenities on there because we haven't engaged the landscape to really see what those needs are or what that's going to look like yet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
this is. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I want to make sure that it doesn't get real far down the path before you notice it needs more benches.
No, thank you. That's
Yeah,
great.
absolutely,
Can I add one more comment on the previous slide?
Sure.
absolutely.
Just, I love the heron and I'm not sure if that's going to be concrete or look like concrete, but just an opportunity. I don't know how far along we are, but we were working at the Hood Canal Bridge.
Yeah,
We have
that's a
an
good-
art project that is going in there that looks quite a bit like that. It's basically aluminum, but looks like concrete and with something that looks like cedar on the side, basically. So it looks very similar. And the idea is that these are kind of wayfinders around the peninsula as part of the Olympic Peninsula Tourism Master Plan. So it's a company in Woodinville that's making these, and they're scalable to any size. So if it's a potential would be, instead of doing that kind of monolith, do a monolith that looks just like this with a rectangular window and the same heron inside. The idea is that everyone would put their own logo or whatever in the window, and it looks quite a bit like that, but it's a rectangle instead of a beveled rectangle rather than a circle. But then it would have, just continuity and wayfinding connection with both the Hood Canal Bridge and the Jamestown Slalom Tribe is talking about doing one. So it's
Do you have like a copy of
Into
one?
Clallam.
the specs. I can.
Yeah, I'd love to see them. If you could send those to us, that'd be great.
If it's practical, I don't know.
So with that idea, does the heron stay or does the heron?
The heron stays.
Okay.
Heron stays. Yeah.
Heron stays. Yeah.
That's a super
This is-
cool idea. I love
Yeah,
tying
I
it
love it
into
too.
a regional thing.
Yeah.
And I have another question about the letters, Haynes Place. Is that just something you put up there? Or is that really going to be what it's like?
That's just something we put up there. Yeah, this is a very conceptual rendering, and the problem with renderings is you have to tell it to do something, to show you something, right? So we just
Right.
plug something in. I don't even think that meets the signage code. We have not verified that it does, and I bet it doesn't because it's
It
so
looks
big.
really high maintenance.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of roosting locations on that sign too. So yeah. What I can speak to is the design of the structure. Again, we're still sort of refining it, but conceptually it's there, which is
Mhm.
the idea of something that's cantilevering out of the ground. Very simple, very maintainable, not a lot of, surfaces to have to deal with and maintain. Really thinking hard about the back of the roof aligns right with the face of the columns so that the gutters can drop straight down and be super tight to the structure and very durable that way. They're not held on by some flimsy piece of sheet metal. The wood that you're seeing there is, or the tan color is representing wood. We're planning to use a 3-ply CLT, which is a cross-laminated timber panel. They're pretty cool panels, but it gives you that very clean underside look. And it's a very simple assembly to build. So it's maintainable and easy to build and the first go around. What we haven't figured out yet is lighting. As you can see, we have not shown any lighting yet, but there would be some lighting.
Jordan, is the same kind of sunshade down the line where the buses are on the left-hand side of the screen? It
That's
looks like
exactly,
one it
yep.
makes- Yeah, okay.
Yep, exactly the same.
And are you thinking, this is a nice sunny picture, but most of the days are pretty wet. Have you
Yeah.
thought about exposure to dripping by people waiting for the bus?
Yeah, so that's why we've had the back slope on it, so that all the water sheets to one side, and then we'll have a continuous integrated gutter on the back side that captures all that water. So don't want any drip lines that people have to, dodge around.
And also, being a veteran bus driver, rider, wind is something that they don't often consider when they do bus stops. Like in the days of the sideways rain, this doesn't look really.
It's so hard to design for something of that, because what that does is those canopies get larger and larger and larger in order to stop the wind-driven rain. And so there's a cost, a benefit analysis that you lose out of some of that, right?
Right.
If you wanted to see some enclosed shelters for those days you have wind-driven rain, you'd need glass side, just like your regular shelters out there. And maybe that's what you do, is you put a few of those out there for those days, right? But
And I drove by Kitsap Transit, Silverdale, and I noticed that they had added some areas that would provide some wind protection.
wind
And
breaks, yeah.
yeah, and so that's something that we're also thinking about too, is while this gives us kind of the larger design and layout of where do the buses pull in, where do they pull out, I think some of those passenger amenities are things we're also thinking about, such as what do our benches look like? How do we add in some additional protection? How do we add in signage, like, bus schedules, that kind of thing. So some of those things are things like we haven't quite gotten to yet, because we were looking at really the layout of, this is where a bus pulls in, this is where a bus will charge, this is how we keep people from walking through the bus loop. So I think in the previous slide or two, Jordan had listed out kind of some of the problems we were trying to solve with this design. And yeah, definitely hearing from the community about multimodal transportation. How do we mix biking and transit together? And that means we need to think about how do we make bikers feel more welcome at our transit center. Also, how do we include bikers at our transit center without encouraging them to ride through our bus loop, which is a constant issue? Enhanced user experience, I think, right now, and this kind of falls into safety as well, but Haines Place is very dark at night, and there are some bus shelters that don't have lighting. And so it can be a little bit unnerving if you're a first time rider to come to Haines Place at night. So how do we create an environment where individuals will feel safe, riding, in the fall, winter, and early spring where, it's not as light? How do we make sure that operators can see people, easier? It's right now, it can be difficult to see individuals at night if they are in our bus loop. Electric bus charging, again, the only way for Jefferson Transit to move forward with electric buses is if we have a way to charge en route. And right now we don't. And we're making do, and I think we're doing a good job because that's what we do. But it's key that we have some way to charge our buses down at Haines Place. And so that's why you'll see a lot of spaces for buses to lay over, but also to charge. And I will say one of the biggest hurdles that we face, that staff faces at Haines Place, is people walking through our bus loop. And it sounds like not a big deal, but as an operator, it's a very big deal. Anytime that we have that parking lot is filled up, it requires staff to be on site to direct people to crosswalks. So I'm thinking about, obviously Wooden Boat were there, but, big festivals, big community events, protests, that kind of thing. It requires the majority of us to show up and keep people in the bus loop because it's really unsafe for the drivers to be kind of making those turns and not being able to see who's in the bus loop and who's walking around. So we were really thoughtful with this design and how do we design out some of our current issues. And I think one thing that you can't quite see in this rendering is we have safety barriers that would really discourage people from walking into the bus loop. And that was really something from the beginning that we had been talking about, is how do we corral people to our crosswalks and ensure that people are using the safest place to kind of cross over. And I know we haven't gotten to it yet, Jordan, but the placement of that building is also key for safety as well.
Thank you for
So
that summary.
Can you kind of give a brief thumbnail about how the passenger gets to the bus? And it looks kind of exactly the same as the other one, but at a different, 90 degrees different.
Yeah, and I think by designing the bus loop in this configuration and having the parking to one side, right now with the parking up near Katai. I'm not good with my north and south. So up above the bus loop, that really just encourages people like to just walk in a straight line. So they will park there and just walk straight through the bus loop, regardless of whether or not buses are moving around. So it's really just.
Plus you have a crosswalk that comes from
and
right
people
from
don't
the
use
back
that
parking lot.
because they like to go, the path of least resistance. So by turning the bus loop, we're making and moving the parking lot and having the parking lot all in one space. Really, there's no reason for people to be walking through or cutting through our bus loop. And so with proper fencing, and then, corralling people into the appropriate crosswalks, I think we're helping to minimize that problem. I don't foresee it going away completely because people are people, but I do see us creating a safer environment.
Right. Well, when I'm riding the bus, what I notice is the passengers are the ones cutting across to get to a different stop or to chat with somebody or to whatever.
Yes.
So the buses will line up on this side here and on this side here, but there's sort of a darker, it's probably faint for you guys, but a darker line shown here. And then it breaks for the crosswalk and picks up again here, and then all the way around here. And then there's actually another bit over here and around here that are doing that corralling of people. So I guess it's technically possible for somebody to get off a bus here and maybe run diagonally, but at the end of the day, they have to come to one of these openings in the fence to get across to the bus over on this side. So they don't have the same incentive they would have had otherwise, just to sort of bolt straight across, right? It kind of makes sense to go to a crosswalk. So I think that was what Nicole was pointing out.
So where there's 2 lanes that are coming through that are presumably the passenger pickup areas.
Yep, that's these 2 areas here.
And then
Yep.
where do the passengers wait for those? Inside that little loop that's not green or in?
Yeah.
On the white
I
spots.
thought-
Yeah.
Yep, this is there's a covered canopy over this area and then another covered canopy over this area in front of the building. And those are the passenger wait areas.
Okay.
Can you guys point out the charging for the senior citizen in the room?
The bus charging is over
Read
here.
the labels.
Missed.
Yeah, no, it's pretty microscopic on the screen probably. Yeah, the bus charging is over in this zone here.
And is that induction or is it plug-in?
We're gonna go with plug-in.
Okay.
You'd said
Not
that.
the kneeling.
And what's inside the green loop?
That's a bioretention area, and I think it's still kind of being developed in terms of how that works with the bus charging the stations and stuff. But we want to use every space available to deal with stormwater. We have really big stormwater requirements on the site. So using a space like this to capture some of it, this is probably more about purification of water. It's probably more rain garden than it is detention. So don't think of it as a pond, or sorry, water quality. I misspoke. It's not so much a pond as it is more of like a rain garden.
And it looks like there's little crosswalks over to it, so people are in that area as well, right?
Well, we need to get drivers who have parked their bus here back over somehow.
So there's the the white crosswalks, kind of crossways, pathways,
Yes.
or whatever across.
That's for them to get to the building so they can, take a break and things of
Yeah,
that nature.
because they
It's
don't
not
live
for-
in the buses.
It's not for the
you know?
public, right?
So public going through there.
No public going through there.
That's like my kids used to think that their teachers lived at the school, but they actually don't.
I love that. All right, keep us moving forward. This is a view looking from the parking lot. So this is a common entry point. So just to go back for a second here, orient you, you're standing about here, looking here. This site plan is missing a little bit of development in this area, but the idea is we're trying to create some sort of sense of arrival to the site here. And so we'll come in, there's some stairs. There's also a ramp that comes around from the right of, or towards the right of way and where ADA stalls will be. It's really not that much of a grade change at the end of the day. So this is kind of where we're landing with the building. This what you're seeing here. I'll show you a floor plan next. Is a office with a transaction window. And that's probably the most public facing element of this other than the restrooms. And then the rest of it is some staff offices. And actually, let me just show you. So here's that transaction window. Here, there's a vestibule and entry point. These are public facing restrooms. And then the ones more private for the staff, some offices, that driver's lounge with its own entry, a little quiet room, and then some electrical and custodial spaces, some back of house spaces. So pretty simple floor plan, trying to keep it simple and economical, but serving the needs of the site.
Tell me about what happens in a driver's lounge.
So in the
Just where they take a break or
So the drivers will have, right now at Haynes Place, they have a sink, a microwave, they have a place to store snacks, any food, we have refrigerator, we have a kitchen table, if you will, and we have a lounge chair, a sort of recliner.
It's probably not much different what you have out here, right?
Oh, it feels different. It feels different. Pretty cramped.
Imagine harvest gold, avocado green, the little baby RV sink.
It feels different. So the idea was that we would have a space large enough that drivers could sit at a table or tables. But also, sometimes they have an hour break, and if it's raining, sometimes they just want to go somewhere quiet where no one's talking to them. And so we wanted to create kind of a quiet room where maybe we have a few chairs in there where they can just sit quietly and either, be on their phones or be listening to a podcast or read a book, something quiet where they just don't have to interact with someone for a while. So we wanted to separate that out from where they could be, making their lunch or using the microwave or the fridge or sitting and talking with friends. So we wanted kind of those two areas to be a bit separate.
Can they take a nap in the quiet room?
Yeah, if they want in the chair. I mean, sometimes they take a nap in the chair right now, but it's not
quiet.
I mean, it's not quiet. It's
Sure.
Right by the door.
way to get out of the building. So I mean, it's not a great nap if they're trying to snooze for a little bit. We wanted the 3 offices facing the bus loop, so that right now we're proposing an office for our field supervisors, an office for our safety and service supervisor, and then an office for our fixed route operations manager. Having all 3 of those offices face outward, that way you can see what's happening in the bus loop. Having the 2 restrooms was a priority, the public facing restrooms. We think that's still a priority for Jefferson Transit. We have them kind of pushed in a bit because within that transaction, the transaction space, the idea was instead of having an open lobby, we have a window where folks can come up to the window and receive information that they may need, such as a schedule or schedules for, the ferries or another agency, or if, we have some information about Port Townsend, that kind of thing. But also whoever's in the transaction window can also keep an eye on what's happening with the restrooms as well, who's going in, who's going out. If there's anything interesting happening there, they'll be able to kind of provide some eyesight on that. Contractually, we are required to have 2 private restrooms for operators that are for operators or staff only. So that's why we have the additional 2 restrooms inside the building. Again, electrical, all things building related, having an appropriate place for custodial equipment and, just kind of some storage items. Right now, Haynes Place is really lacking in having any type of storage. So everything is kind of everywhere in that building. So that's a little bit of what we were thinking with this building floor plan.
I had a question. The transaction, the window is only to the outdoors. And I see there's like a little hallway next to
Right.
it.
So the idea is that we would not be inviting the public into our space, but that we would be greeting the public through a window.
So
Right. But
lots more window than is shown on the plan. There's a graphic glitch here. I have a team member who's out on medical leave, and so I was doing this myself. I'm not as good with the technology as so. The windows aren't showing in plan around this corner, I think is maybe what you're pointing out, and also in the offices. So there's a lot more glazing than is shown here on the plan.
well, it seems to me it would be useful to have a window that goes from the transaction place into that little hallway.
Oh, I apologize. So you're saying into here.
Right.
Gotcha. And there is
There
okay.
is one
So
there. Yeah.
there is one shown. Would you think that would be just last for supervision or something operable?
Well, also transaction, because
Okay.
it's nice to be out of the pouring rain when you're trying to find out something. I mean, it
So-
could be locked up on nice days, but open on nasty days.
There still could be a drip line or some kind of a canopy just over that little space, so you're still coming out of the weather. But we haven't got that far yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this whole area will be covered out here.
And since you have one, I don't know why you did that in the first place. If you put the door at the end of the long hallway,
Over here.
yeah, I mean, you could have that.
There's a grade transition there.
Oh,
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
The
that's
grade
the
change.
problem is you can't get to it.
okay.
We have to get up out of the
ADA
floodplain.
accessibility.
So
Yeah.
we are in the floodplain, and so the building elevation kind of gets pinned to a height, and then what we end up having to do is sort of gradually bring grades up a little bit as the buses enter the site and kind of come around. It's all fairly subtle because it's over fairly long distances, but that's sort of driving some of the choices we've made.
And we failed to mention that one of the other obstacles that we're dealing with is the floodplain and, you know, the rising waters. And so the building's elevation had to go higher because that's what the code requires. And then therefore it elevates the site in to meet those grades. Which is why you see a little bit of grade transition right now. When you go down there, you don't see that, but the code requires us to fix that.
So that's all the slides I've got. I'm happy to toggle around any of them if you want to go back or
Questions
further?
for Jordan? Comments? We've been going along through it. It's exciting to see it begin to manifest and
Yeah.
a little more room for the drivers to get around there and the separation. I mean, it's similar to the design we've seen at Gateway, right? But just
Mhm.
magnified. So
Yeah, and just working through some of the challenges of the site itself and its proximity to the floodplain, its proximity to the
Nesting bird.
wildlife, the nesting ground, all of these things have kind of slowed us down a little bit, and we're working through those, which is why our first submittal to the city will be by the end of the month, and we'll have all of our supporting documentation of why we can do what we can do, and we're going to turn it in, see what they comments that come back. Like Jordan said, we did have a preliminary meeting with them. They brought up some issues, which was why we had to dial things back and try to change things a little bit before we submit. Once we get to the point where we're submitting, Jordan and his team can actually forward the design and incorporating comments and get us to a set that shows all the amenities, where the covered areas will be, how that flow generates around the site. Folks will then start really working on their ADA access, egress, and all that other things that go along with it.
Yeah, I think it would be good for us to get another pass at this when it's a little more developed, but this is really helpful just to get this kind of high level concept of where things are going to go and generally what it's going to look like.
I like the idea that what Greg brought up of the visual piece of making it consistent with the wayfinding elements at the bridge. I mean, I just think
Yeah, that's a great comment. Yeah.
we, when we were doing that Olympic Peninsula Tourism Plan, which Nicole was part of as well, there was a lot of interest in more transit connections on the North Olympic Peninsula. And that's kind of why we got into this whole gateway conversation initially. And I think just building that consistency in terms of the kind of the brand of the wayfinding makes a lot of sense.
I also think to that point, it could kind of help steer us in a direction for the Gateway Visitor Center.
for sure.
Yeah. Kind of seeing those.
Oh yeah, you tie those together. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. I sent Nicole and Shannon the final documents with
Oh, thank you.
elements and everything. And
We'll forward that onto our design team so they can take a look into what's going on and they can kind of incorporate that same type of a feel.
if you need any more contact with the artist that designed it or the manufacturing company, because as I say, it's a locally manufactured.
Mhm. I like that.
Thank you. That's really cool.
Okay.
Exciting.
Any other thoughts before we? All right. Well, it is really exciting. Thanks for.
Yeah.
I think we really benefit from the school district project working with Barker Creek too. You're out here all the time. So it's a pleasure.
Rocks, paper, scissors for who gets the offices down there, or what? How you
I
guys?
think she already
Oh.
assigned them.
Yeah.
Yes.
We assigned extra out
Right. Yeah.
field supervisors and our training and service training supervisor Mel.
All right.
Yeah, those who are down there.
Out in the trenches.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Well, great. Well, we'll continue to work on it. We'll continue to refine it and we'll bring it back to you after we get more done.
Great.
All right.
It's really accessible.
Nice work.
Stay on the accessibility.
Thanks, Jordan. Nice work.
Yeah. Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
for
I
your
think,
input. Appreciate it.
You saw Sydney pop online. She is the driver of most of all of this. So.
Okay. Oh,
I assumed that.
all right. Thanks so much. All right, is Kelly gonna take us through, no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we're excited
Yes.
to,
Getting ahead of the game.
yeah, I'm excited that Kelly's gonna talk about this, but Kelly and Amanda and Sarah have really kind of been spearheading our agency's understanding of the WCAG 2.1 accessibility requirements. And I'm really proud of the fact that we are getting out ahead of this. And so I will turn it over to Kelly so she can talk all about it, but it will bring about some changes to Jefferson Transit and our meetings and our website and our communication with the public.
Yes, so my memo was in the packet, but just I'll go over kind of like a high level overview. So hopefully you guys are aware of this ruling by the Department of Justice. So all government agencies must ensure that their digital content is ADA accessible, people with disabilities. So what that includes is websites, social media platforms, any applications that you use, and then also public meetings. So we have been attending trainings and learning about these guidelines and how to be in compliance. And we've been putting together a plan of action. So our deadline is now April 2028. It was April 2027, but they extended the deadlines by a year. So it is nice to have that extended, but we're not going to pause. We're going to keep going forward. There's a lot to it. There's a lot to learn, a lot to train staff on. So we're going to keep plugging forward and be compliant as soon as possible, and then work on our plans to stay in compliant with any new content that we have. So we are training staff. We've had a staff training already, and we have more coming. And we actually have started now with some of our packet materials of creating accessible documents for our board reports and our agenda and the TDP this year. We've changed that so it is ADA accessible. The website is kind of the biggest part of this though. And we want to simplify the website and only have required or important documents or plans on there. So right now, I think we have 400, almost 500 PDF files on there. And your PDF files also have to be compliant. And that is kind of a tricky, complex part of this. So simplifying it, removing any PDFs that don't need to be on there. And there are a certain amount of items and plans or contracts that are required. So we're going through and learning what that is. And then converting some of our PDF brochures or flyers to HTML. So it will actually be on the website instead of a PDF that you click on. That just makes it easier in the long run. And so this affects public meetings as well, and some of our meeting documents. So we have all of our past meeting packets up to certain years on the website. We have past resolutions. Those are a lot of the files. I think there's 240 resolutions. So our plan is to only keep the current year of meeting packets and get rid of all of the old resolutions because people can access that by public records request. So that is one of the things that we want to do. And then through this process, we've created a committee. It is Amanda, Sarah, and I that are working on this. And we've reached out to the other local government agencies. So the city, the county, the school districts, and the PUD. And we got together for our first meeting just to kind of see, what are you guys doing? What's your plan? How are you becoming compliant? And then we can share resources with each other and kind of help motivate each other along the way. Because it is a very complex thing and it's a little complicated and hard to understand. So we're going to keep meeting every other month with this same group and just continue to see where everybody is at in their compliance. And then the three of us are meeting monthly to just kind of continue on processing the website and figure out what pages we want to eliminate or what PDFs we want to eliminate and what we need on there. I'm going to go to Amanda first to see if I missed anything in regards to public meetings, and then I'll see if you guys have any questions.
Hey, Kelly, I think you pretty much nailed it, all the main talking points for today. It's going to change our public meetings quite a bit. And so there's more questions than answers right now. The whole country has to do this. It's the Department of Justice. It's a federal law. So we'll just keep you updated as we go along and learn more.
I'm glad they gave us an extra year.
Oh,
I
yeah.
am too.
As I was hearing about this, I'm like, by when?
Yeah.
So.
Any other questions for Kelly?
So Kelly, is it essentially you have to convert PDFs to HTML? Is that the gist
So
of it?
they
or-
don't have to be converted, but you're supposed to build your document in the native file for it to be 100% accessible, and then you can convert it into a PDF and it is accessible.
Okay.
But there's lots of complications with that, and so there are some, like if you have a brochure or a flyer, it's better just to have the information on the website because it's easier to access. And they say people getting this stuff in sooner clicks, so like one click to get to something. So if it's on your page as information, it's easier just for someone to read than having to, find the PDF and click on the PDF to open it up. So items that we can convert, we will, but stuff like our plans, or if there's any policies that are documents, those are going to stay documents.
It's kind of ironic since PDF was created to make things simpler for people to get access, isn't it?
Oh, true.
That was a then.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
And I would say, we decided to start the group so that we could really learn from other entities. So our attendance was kind of low at our first meeting. So maybe just bringing that back to your organizations to say, we're working on it. We'd love to learn from everyone else. And I think that there are some entities that might be hiring consultants to kind of go through and do this for them, which is fine. But I think with the amount of time that we have, we're going to try to do this ourselves. So yeah, if your groups aren't coming to our meetings, like we'll keep extending invitations, but I think it's a good way for all of us to, we're all in the same boat. We all have to digest the same information. You know that within the transit industry, this is a topic that is brought up a lot with the clerks. So Amanda goes to or is part of just a group of all of the clerks around the state. So they've been talking a lot about this. We've been talking about this in our operations committee meetings. We've been talking about this on the general manager level. So just lots of talk about this and then a lot of training. And Kelly and Amanda have given me instructions on things I'm not allowed to do anymore, which is like bring to PDF. I can't do that anymore. So I think it's just going to be a rethinking of how and what we put on our website, how we conduct our meetings, the things that we say or don't say, and the type of social media that we do and all of that. So it really is a game changer.
Great. Any other questions or comments? Appreciate you guys working on it. Hopefully, and the county's starting slowly to get into it as well. So I hope Liz is interfacing with you group.
Yeah, they weren't able to make our first meeting, but they did contact me and said that they want to be in the group. So
great. Okay, well, we're sticking with Kelly and moving on to the rebrand. It'll be an accessible rebrand, I'm sure.
yes.
Bright colors only, lots of high contrast images.
Yellow,
Yeah,
red, and blue.
yellow, red, and blue.
They're on top of that for accessibility.
We will most likely be saying goodbye to yellow.
Yellow,
Yeah.
as long as the red bus.
Well,
Oh.
yeah, like we're trying.
Okay.
We're just looking at
All of our options,
Okay.
right?
So again, this memo was in there. I'm just gonna kind of hit some of the high level items and then you guys can ask me questions. So phase 1, the discovery phase has been completed. So MAC, they did 5 focus groups that were intermingled with staff, stakeholders, and community members. And they asked us a bunch of questions about our agency, about the community, about our current branding. And then they compiled all this information together and they presented it to our small rebrand team, which consists of Nicole, myself, Amanda, and Dakota, who's in customer service. So in that report, what they found, some items that weren't working is that we have outdated visuals and a narrow audience perception. Currently, a lot of our community feel that transit is seen primarily to serve the elderly or economically disadvantaged people. And we want to change that perception that transit is for everyone, not just people that possibly need it for a ride. our current logo. There's no emotional voice. It doesn't convey warmth or community pride. What they say is working is the trolley, not necessarily incorporating the trolley into our logo, but it can be a graphic thing that we use for marketing. A lot of people love the trolley. It's seen as fun and welcoming and unique. We want human connection, community trust. See, so their recommendations were creating a brand that reflects the unique character of Jefferson County. So we like Port Townsend. Port Townsend is very unique, but we also want to include the entire county because they are very different. So we've mentioned that a lot, and that was mentioned in the focus groups. We want our brand to be friendly, welcoming, and authentic. They recommend a vibrant color palette that's inspired by the Pacific Northwest landscape and modernizing our logo and typography. So currently we are in the middle of phase 2 and 3. Phase 2 is brand messaging and phase 3 is visual identity development. So they presented some mood boards to us that had different styles and different colors and different things, and we give them our feedback on it. And then we did these 2 2-hour workshops with staff, and Linda from TAG joined. And then we had Natalie from Port Townsend Main Street who also joined. She has a lot of experience in marketing, and they just went through a rebrand as well. And she was part of the city's Port Townsend tourism rebrand. So we got a lot of great feedback from those, and they're going to be working on our brand purpose, our values, our voice, and our tones, because that's all part of the rebrand as well. It's not just a logo. And then next, they're going to share some preliminary concepts with us. And then I think we are set for the July meeting for them to do a presentation to the board of where they're at and kind of status of that. So that is all I have. Do you guys have any questions on that?
Yeah, I got a question. Are there any men on these committees?
Are there any what?
Men?
Yes.
Often men and women perceive things differently.
Yes, there was a good mix
Agree
of
with that.
both.
Sorry, joke.
Yes, men and women were both on the focus groups.
We're gonna miss you, Greg.
Did that answer your question, Vivian?
Yeah, as long as there's somebody.
I mean, are we gonna see kind of what staff is winnowed down? You know, I mean, a lot of us participated in the stakeholder groups. I'd love to kind of, you know, I don't need to choose, but like options would be great. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that they're going to show the initial concepts to our rebrand team for us to just take a look before it's presented to the board. And then, yeah, you guys will see those initial concepts too. And then I think they're going to share some of the maybe a couple tagline options as well when we meet. So
Yeah,
so we're excited about that.
I would strongly suggest that we have, mini reports as you go along instead of just being presented at the end with a thing like the website.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Okay.
Yeah, little progress reports. It'd be fun to follow along.
I can do an update at every board meeting. I have something to update on. So
Of
yes.
course. Okay. Can't wait. There's not going to be a bus in the logo. I know. That's what I talked when I was doing my little interview with them, and that's good. I think it's good. Mia Heron, what did you have, Heidi?
That's unrelated except for to the color red. We have received a request for a bus stop at one of our bus stops, but one of the little red bus stops in Chimacum at the corner store.
Oh,
I've been hearing it a lot when I go in the corner store.
opportunity there.
Yeah.
Have fun with that farm.
Like there's space there.
And they're totally willing to help with whatever is needed. And if it's a state highways issue, the other road, Chimacum Road, is not a state highway. So but anyway, I just have now
easier.
received the request like 3 times. So I was just like, I better bring it up.
As long as we're talking new bus stops, earlier today I was at a meeting with a shelter group, and as we move the emergency shelter from downtown out to Coswell Brown Village, and the population there is going on 90 people potentially. There's interest in whether a stop closer to Mill Road coming into town is possible. Don't have to answer right now.
Yeah, I'm thinking about,
The answer is yes.
Watched out.
well, I'm thinking about safe, like a pull out, a pull in. Where our existing, we're more near Jacob Miller. Road right now.
And it could be just making we could make a trail. I mean, if it's not possible, I mean, yeah, a
Mhm.
pull out. I know you're a little farther down there. It's not very far away. So it's not an acute issue. It's just, could we shift that 100 meters down?
And we are still thinking about Evans Vista. And when that goes in, I'm gonna say when that goes in, that opens up a whole like possibility of us running through there and then running past Caswell Brown to get in and out of that space. Also with I'm thinking out loud about the roundabout, and I'm not sure the status of that or if there's
Big roundabout at Mill Road.
So that would
It's a
affect
forever
you.
project, yeah.
Like maybe in our lifetime we'll see it.
I haven't seen, have you guys seen the design? I know, I mean, we're county and city
Yeah.
are working together with WashDOT to try to come up something, but I think the last I heard was kind of two roundabouts, like our most dangerous road is Jacob Miller and Discovery. And
Okay.
State Highway, so we're trying to solve both of those issues at the same time, so it might be two roundabouts, I don't know.
Okay.
But
Yeah, we can take a look at that. But yeah, always my initial concern is how do we pull a bus safely off and how do we pull a bus safely on? And how are we allowing for a place for people to cross safely so that we then don't become liable for creating an unsafe situation?
Are we talking about the Caswell Brown side of the road? Are we?
bus stop there, yeah.
Yeah, there's a bus stop there,
But it's a little farther down. It's like almost by Jacob Miller Road.
but it's on the,
Sarah's got it. It is on that side, yeah.
it's on the trail.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right by the trail.
People have been bringing up trying to deal with the campsite there. It's right by the bus stop, and maybe it would be a way to make the bus stop better and
Yeah.
discontinue the campsite.
All right, sorry.
Kelly,
We digress, sorry.
back to the rebrand, I think what I heard pretty clearly is that folks would like to see kind of interim plans before it gets into the final plan. So I know our meetings can be pretty spread out, so I'd say if you get an interim plan that might turn into a final plan before our next meeting, maybe sharing that with the board before the meeting and allowing some comments might be.
Confirm with the consultants, Mac, but I'm pretty sure that's what the presentation of the July meeting
Okay.
is for planning, but yes. This will definitely be involved in that.
Good, thanks.
Okay, anything else on the rebrand or a little segue on new bus stops? All right, good. Let's move on. I think we're passing it over to Nicole, the development on the replacement of the bus as well as, yeah.
Yep,
Start
so
with that.
this will be myself, Jamie and Desiree. We have been looking at opportunities to purchase a refurbished bus. And so I know that Jamie and Desiree were on a call with Coachworks.
Complete Coachworks.
Complete Coachworks. So I'll hand it over to the both of you.
Essentially what Desiree and I did was just meet with the representatives from Complete Coachworks to discuss our needs. They have a boneyard, they said, of about 800, I think, vehicles there to, so they will buy buses, chassis from like basically whoever. So we tell them our needs. What they try to do is find a bus that's gonna best fit in with our fleet and make it look like it's always been part of our fleet. So they're not on the state contract yet. They have gotten their, the state has finalized the new bus purchase contract for new buses, the refurb part. They've got their notice of intent to award. They had a couple little things they had to tweak. So they should be on the contract shortly. But in the meantime, Desiree and I have sent them paint schematics, interior layouts, all of our
pricing variances, all the specs, the different things that we have done to our buses when we order them from Gillig. They did have a 30-foot Gillig there, I think that they said would work. The transmission is a different type of transmission than what we run in our buses currently, but still very good. And I think they said they would do a rebuild on the transmission. I mean, everything from top to bottom, running gear, chassis, interior, paint is all going to be basically brand new. We're still waiting on a quote, a rough idea. Of course, they can't give us hard pricing yet because we don't exactly know what the contract pricing will be. But once that, they were going to give us a preliminary quote, and their turnaround time is between 6 and 9 months for a refurbished bus.
Lightning fast.
Compared to the 2+ years to get a new one, yes.
I don't think we could even get a quote in that time.
I have been waiting that long for a quote, actually. So, yeah, it was really great to talk to them, and kind of cool that they can take an old something that would just sit and rot away and upcycle, and here we go. So
You have an idea just what their basic quote model is? I mean, are they like half of a new bus or 2/3?
they didn't really give us any indication.
It'll be less than a new bus.
Yeah.
For sure. And again, the preliminary was like, this is what we're looking at. What do you have? We discussed kind of those things. And then just like any other one, when we request a quote, then we sit down for then the final build meeting to really hash out all those little points to get a good pricing put in. But we do know it'll be less than a new one.
And I've seen their work examples at, conferences. They do amazing things with their refurbishments. So I'm excited to see what we can do.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks. It's jobs is assigned, right? It's kind of outside the normal duty, I know. Any other questions for Jamie or Desiree?
So really, we just wanted to come back to the board to kind of follow up with our discussion at the April meeting. But I think this is a good option for us. And I know our climate action plan is let's go electric. In thinking a little bit more long-term though, I think that if we're able to purchase this option, that still allows us to keep some of our reserve and allows us to buy an expansion electric bus. So we would be adding on to our fleet, which we've been really trying to do is expand our fleet. We're to the point where our spare ratio is not high enough. So if we want to continue to provide the level of service we need to have some spares. And so this would allow us to preserve that reserve so that we can buy an additional bus and increase our spare ratio. So again, we don't have all of the information for the board, but I did want to circle back to let the board know what we were looking at and what some options are. Of course, that'll be the board's decision if we go this route, but that is kind of where we're at this point. I'm like a little hesitant to say this, but I will. Grant Transit has purchased some small electric vehicles. They're small little buses. I don't know how their staff like the buses. I don't know how they're working in their system. I do know that they had to, they're not on the state contract. They had to buy them with their own funds. So there would be no grant funding for these. And that is also what we're thinking about as well, is how do we make sure that we keep all of our options open by keeping that reserve available to us, not necessarily with a replacement bus, but with expansion vehicles. So more to come on that. When I was at the WISTA board meeting just a few weeks ago, they hadn't fully accepted them yet. So Grant hasn't put them into service yet, but I will be providing additional information about that. But
So did you find them? They're so cute.
they're
They're like the ones we saw in Vancouver.
I know.
So
So
don't ever
I
tease me like
think
that.
we have some- I think we have some options, but that also leads us to believe that we need to think about
Driving
the money that we've set aside.
Rogers neighborhood.
It'd be so
How
cute.
many passengers does the small boat carries?
I believe right now they're anywhere from, I think they're 15 or less,
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
but don't quote me on that.
Not quoting you.
Don't quote me on that, but it's a smaller capacity. But it would allow for, some of our routes that, don't require large capacity.
Sure.
So
Remember those cute?
anyway,
little-
that was just something that I've been thinking about as well.
You could
And I
have on
appreciate-
in-town routes.
Say again, Vivian, you broke up a little.
Oh, I appreciate the update. It's nice to hear about these things as they go along.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, speaking as they go along, 7 days a week.
We are 7 days a week. So we'll talk about Sunday service. Again, just really proud of this group. I know that I mentioned it in April. I was proud that we were going to be launching Sunday service, and we did on Sunday, May 3rd. But really proud of the efforts that it takes to launch another day of service. It, again, it requires all hands on deck. So all departments, we had to staff up, and we've had some staffing issues on our fixed route side. And I think, our hats off always to our transit operators for stepping up and taking extra shifts. We've had a lot of overtime in our shop. Two of our more senior mechanics have really taken on more, and, we're fully staffed in the shop now. But just like when you hire an operator, when you hire a mechanic, it takes a while before you can release them to service on their own. But Desiree and her group are doing a great job of bringing those mechanics up to speed. So Commissioner Brotherton let me know that he didn't want it all to be rainbows and cupcakes. I needed to be speak to the reality of what Sunday service is. But I think, for over the last little over a month, we've been really just kind of going with the flow and seeing, what comes up and reacting to what comes up, what's different, what didn't we think about that we should have. Overall, I think all of us are pleasantly surprised at the ridership numbers for Sunday. Within your packet, under the fixed route, we of course keep the ridership numbers, and we've broken out Sunday ridership numbers. And so you can kind of see that trend. On the first Monday, I had sent something out to the board saying our ridership numbers were 549 folks that rode our bus on that first Sunday. The following Sunday, it was 504. After that, 513. After that, 604. And then on the weekend of the 31st, it was 646 riders.
Oh.
So we're seeing an increase. I think it'll be interesting as we progress through the summer to see how our ridership is on each particular route. But we're just really excited that the community is responding and that they're hopping on the bus. We're launching into festivals and events and things like that. So just excited to see that happening. And Amy, I don't know if you want to talk anything to add. Did I miss anything about?
Doing great. We graduated one. We're hoping a driver will be released to extra board next Monday. So that was out of a class of 4. We had one make it, which was very disappointing. It's not our fault. But those are the things we just keep positive attitude, and we're recruiting right now. And I'm excited about some of the applicants that we have. So we're going to focus on that.
So we'll be starting another class in
July 13th.
July 13th. So,
And I'll just say, totally unsolicited, one of my relatives told me about their Sunday bus service. They took the Kingston Express, they got on the light rail. So that's what we were saying at the meeting, where it's like, well, Kingston Express, or no, faster. But she told me this, and we weren't even talking about anything related to me or work or transit, but board. And she said, she took the fast ferry, she went downtown, she went to the museum, she did an errand. and she got on the Bainbridge Ferry and she made it back for the connection back to Port Townsend and she did a whole loop. I was like, okay, it works.
I have a question about the Sunday numbers. I noticed there was like one route that was really low. Are we considering having selected routes for it eventually?
Are you referring to the number 8?
Yeah, I think it was 8.
I think the 8 is one that we'll be evaluating. And again, we knew that one might be a little less because Clallam Transit is not operating on Sunday. So there's not a connection once you get to Sequim. So that's, we're paying attention to that. Like, is that, who's that route serving, and is that the best route to be operating? Are those folks taking the bus out to Four Corners and then getting off? How far past Four Corners are they riding, or where are we picking these people up? And these are questions that are hard for us unless have a designated person on the bus to track where people are getting on and getting off. But yeah, we took notice of the Sequim numbers as well.
Great. I mean, I'm not asking for a decision or anything. I'm thinking about what's coming up.
Yeah.
Well, just for reference, how do the Saturday numbers compare to the Sunday numbers? Are they similar or?
They are similar. And we're not seeing as big of a difference as I thought. And I had anticipated that Sunday would be slow to pick up. In fact, I was really, if I had to guess, I was thinking that the Sunday ridership numbers would be in the 400s. So when it was above 500, I was pretty excited about that. And I think it kind of all depends on what's happening. So I think as we progress, it'll be interesting to be able to compare those. Okay, what did the Saturday look like compared to the Sunday? Kind of as we move forward, and when the board makes some decisions about the future of Sunday service.
Great news.
Yeah, I'm glad it's been a success.
Yep.
Okay, I guess if there's no other questions, we can move update on the Gateway Visitor Center.
Wanted to update the board, and this is going to be a quick update on the Gateway Visitor Center because I don't want anyone to think that we have stopped moving towards our goal of purchasing the Gateway Visitor Center. Jamie has been hard at work on a NEPA, and this is our first NEPA application. And she's doing a great job. And we've been in communication with WashDOT. They've been kind of holding our hand through this process. And this has not been an easy process. It's very much a back and forth. We think we've got it all. And then they say, oh, well, what about this? Or, well, what about this? And then we have to go back and answer those questions and provide that information to WashDOT. So every time we think, oh, we did it, they come back with some more questions for us. So they just came back with some additional questions for Jamie. Jamie is working on getting those answered, and we'll send them back. And then once we have answered all of their questions, I actually do not know how long it takes for them to approve or grant us the NEPA.
So I actually asked ChatGPT.
Oh, did you?
So I'm like, so best case scenario, we've been working on what's called the categorical exclusion worksheet. If we are granted a categorical exclusion based on this worksheet, that's it, NEPA's done, we can move forward. And I'm anticipating that's probably what will happen. There are no other, it's not an area of historical significance. There's nothing, unlike Haynes Place, there's not 8 different critical environmental areas down there that we've got to contend with. So it's the site's been previously disturbed extensively. So best case scenario, I'd answer these last 3 little questions they have: maximum ground disturbance, and which I was working on with Shannon before the board meeting. And then we're done with the process. If they don't have anything else, if they determine that further review is needed, then that could go on another month or two. We're not gonna have to go into a full environmental review there. It's not that type of area, so. Hopefully I'm hoping by July or August, maybe we're actually moving forward with things here. We've got our NEPA and we can start the process.
And you'll be the subject matter experts on NEPA forevermore, Jefferson
Well,
Transit.
I mean, I'm not gonna go expert, I'm gonna go subject matter, very, very beginner, but yes.
Beginner.
Okay.
Yeah. I did have an opportunity to speak with Sean at a meeting that we both attended last week with the county. And I gave him also an update so that he could provide that to Josh as well. We have not forgotten about Gateway. This process is just taking us a bit longer than we anticipated. And moving forward, we will anticipate it taking at least this long.
Speaking of taking a little bit longer, shall we move on to the next topic?
Yes, our transit development plan. That was a nice. I had let the board know that I guess first I'll start by reminding everyone what the transit development plan is. It's a required document by WashDOT. It's a planning document. It helps WashDOT understand what we've done, what we plan on doing, how we plan on spending dollars on projects and service levels. This is a document that is very prescribed by WashDOT, so there's not a lot of, they don't want to see a lot in here that's that they don't ask for. So if it feels very cut and dry, that's what it is. I will say that Jefferson Transit has not submitted our annual report yet. And our annual report feeds the financial information in the transit development plan. So as you were looking through the transit development plan, you notice there were some placeholders that said information coming soon, and it will be coming soon. Carrie and I and Jamie and possibly with the help of Miranda, are working on completing our annual report. But it is taking just a little bit longer for all the reasons that we already know about. So our TDP minus some financial documents is complete. But again, we are still waiting to complete our annual report. Once our annual report is done, we'll be able to update the required information in this document. We will have that ready for the July public hearing. And Jamie, what else would you like to say about the TDP and the document you have put together?
I mean, what else can we say about the TDP? I'm happy to answer questions, entertain suggestions if anybody's had a chance to review it. I mean, basically, yeah, it's our recap of what we did last year, operating wise, capital projects, and then what we're gonna do moving forward.
I will say that if it looks a little different, that is because we were designing it to fall within the WCAG.
It's accessible. Sure.
Yes, so that it is accessible. So some of that means less fun stuff, like graphics and things inside the document. So this was our first stab at making the TDP accessible.
I haven't really dived into it, but when I look at the system map, I don't see the shuttle on it. Or I feel like I see the number 11 in the map, but not on the legend.
Oh, might just need to put an updated copy of the map in there. That's sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I had some other things too.
Go for it, Vivian.
And the part that has the big dark placeholder things on it, when is that coming out?
That will be on there by the July public hearing.
Okay. Then some of that has page numbers, some of it doesn't. On the preservation goal, it says lift instead of life on page 5.
Did you guys see that?
it's listing the 6 goals of the state, and under the preservation goal, it says about the life of things, and it says lift.
Then the lift, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And honestly, we really do appreciate if you're catching our errors and bringing them to our attention. Cause I think 5 of us reviewed it.
Right.
Good, cause 5 of us reviewed it, so.
Page 17, it's another recap of those goals, and preservation goal is not in bold like the other ones are.
Okay.
And then on the packet, page 101, where it's got the scales of the buses, I mean, it shows the ridership in a bar graph. And the graphs have different, some are every 200 people is a line, some are 400, some are 500. If those could be more uniform, that'd be good.
On which page, Vivian?
Well, it doesn't have a page number on it, but it's in the packet. It was on page 101.
Vivian,
Staff report.
oh, is that staff report or is that? Oh, never mind then. That's not part of the TDP.
No.
Not part of the TD.
Yeah, and the TDP also on page 20, or I think it was, I just took notes about where this stuff was. Page 20, there's a fuel section, and it just says placeholder in there. I don't know if that was an oversight because it wasn't bold like the other ones, or if it's an actual placeholder.
A placeholder, so more information will be put in there.
Okay. And then on page 95, where it has a list of all the dates when the service wasn't running.
That's not the TDP.
At the very end, people got tired or something anyway. They're all 25 except for the last date is 12/24/26.
Oh, okay.
That's not in the TDP though, right?
No, that's not the TDP.
It's,
that's just on the,
I just put page 95. I think it must be
Route ridership numbers.
95. Yeah. And is Carrie the same as Kristen?
No.
Okay.
Kristen's the HR generalist. And so I am the HR manager, so I help manage her. She's under me.
Okay.
My
Well,
department.
there's the line about welcoming you and your name change. What that was, but
She's on a pre-arranged vacation. Sweet. But it's been great to welcome her and have her here.
great. Glad to have you here too.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments on the TDP? And so we'll see it in July.
Yes.
And have a chance to review and make any final changes that we.
Correct.
Yeah.
If you catch anything in the meantime, please feel free to email me and let me know.
Okay. Reiterate that for any, if you find anything earlier is better to just send an email directly to Jamie.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's move on to the staff reports. I guess we're starting with fixed ride, Amy.
Oh, wait a minute. I have a question about that last thing. So a lot of it isn't there yet. So you could send it to us when it is there. If you want it earlier, that's when it can happen.
Okay. Yeah. As soon as we have it, I will make sure that we send it out to the board.
I want it before that.
Otherwise, I don't see it.
Before we have it.
Staying difficult on the goal.
We'll send it out.
We will all miss you, Greg.
In contract. All right, we will move on now to staff reports. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
You wanna?
Well, I,
Tee it up.
looking through my report, actually think that we've already kind of hit on it. So if anyone has any questions for me about my report, besides the name error I made, but if no questions, I will hand it over to Amy.
Awesome. So we kind of covered, we are recruiting. We're hoping to do a class of transit operators on July 13th. And I noticed under safety and training update, there's an error. Jefferson Transit is starting a class of 3 new transit operators to obtain their CDL on April 20th. That has passed. So we will get a change on that one. Kelly and I did touch a truck on yours also. That was very exciting. That turned out to be a surprising, really very fun outreach event, mostly because the helicopter that came in into the middle. Is anybody?
I heard the helicopter from
It was very cool.
the place.
Me, David Jorgensen, the field supervisor, met with Chimacum High School Bike Club again, at Chimacum High School. The kids practice their, putting the bikes on the racks, bringing them inside, talking about space limitations, or if somebody is in a wheelchair, how if they have their bike on, they would need to get off, and they ask great questions. It's just a wonderful event, and Nick has been fantastic about inviting us back. So I also said we have one transit operator we're hoping to be released to the extra board, so that means he will start taking work, which is going to be much appreciated. And ridership going up. That J Talk, not so much. It keeps bumming me out, but we'll get there. Kingston is going up again too, and that's expected through the summer because it's a very popular route. It's awesome. That's all I have for that, if anybody has any questions.
I have a comment. I saw how the Seattle Transit is doing a summertime bus to hiking, and our Kingston route could be part of that, taking people out to hike on Mount Si or somewhere. I forget where it was.
Oh, King County Metro.
Yeah.
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 Idea.
Comment for Kelly, really, just make those connections.
Yeah. Thank you, Vivian.
All right, any other questions or comments for Amy? All right, over to Sarah.
Okay, on the mobility side, we're hiring currently for a 4th dispatcher. This is in response to starting Sunday service, and just some increased demand and operational needs. So we're looking forward to having somebody else join our team, be a team of 4. In transit technology, the paratransit software, it's coming along. We've done testing and training. We're starting to go into the training. We pushed back the date a little bit of launching. We just wanted to really make sure everybody's trained sufficiently and giving enough time for that. It gets a little tricky with the scheduling and the operators. So we want to make sure everybody is wholly trained before we get into the release. Right now, the date is looking to be right around the beginning to mid-August, but I'll keep everyone updated as we go along. For the Caddy VL, we're drafting up the RFP, and we'll be keeping you updated on that as well. For outreach, the Sunday service, I joined the team to celebrate the Sunday service, and it was fun reading riders and also just answering questions and being a part of that.
And bus cookies.
And bus cookies.
If you weren't there, it was fun.
It was fun. It
I
was
don't even like cookies in there.
They were very aesthetically pleasing too.
Yeah.
The little food pantry project, I collaborated with Swan School Explorers. It was a fun project. They went into the community and identified some areas that were in need of little food pantries and other items, such as the fairgrounds. And they built the pantries and just built them, had fundraisers. It was a great community project. So I decided to invite them in to our Four Corners location, and we did, so a little travel training. We did some mapping, and we decided to put the food pantry locations on the bus routes to show how the public can get there by bus, because they took the bus to get everywhere to do these food pantry projects. So that was a fun project. And
I love the map.
Yeah, it turned out really well.
108 in the packet.
And it was great. It was Amy Howard, our Mayor Howard, gave the students a proclamation, and then it's going to be out in the Leader. There's going to be a story on it on Wednesday. Right. And ridership. Dial-A-Ride ridership is also rising. It does look like it's going down just a smidge, but that's really, I'm feeling because of the Sunday service. The numbers are still low, a little lower in Sunday, but when you're collectively looking at the numbers, they are rising. With reaching out to schools and doing some travel trainings, I've been trying to kind of put in plugs to this. We can do more travel training and help people get onto the bus that might, sometimes use Dial-A-Ride, but could also use the fixed route as well. So I've been really kind of trying to focus my gearing towards that focus. So any questions for mobility?
Do you have any concerns that pushback on the paratransit will affect the live date for CAT AVL, or are those things unrelated enough that they won't impact each other?
They're related and unrelated. We're working with the same agency, Left Turn, Right Turn, to help us with these two bigger projects. So right now the focus has really been getting the paratransit side set up. We're so close to that finish line there. And then while we are meeting bi-weekly and discussing CAT AVL, once we have the launch, we're going to be able to really fully focus on that end. But it is still in the works, and we'll be reaching out when the RFP for the draft.
Okay. We replaced the bus shelter out on Discovery Road and Sherman Street. That was the old wooden one that got torn down when they did the improvements to the road. So we finally got our permitting together and got that installed. That's the one that's across from the Salish School. Everybody's been asking for a new one there. I'm working on some quotes to get in for replacing some of our outdated equipment on our fuel system. As we go, and we're starting to have a few little issues, we're finding out that a lot of those components are obsolete now. So they'll be getting some replacements done. I hope to have quotes by the end of this week to start moving forward with that project. And then out in the maintenance and facilities team, we are working on streamlining some of our processes and updating them, including updating the SDS binders and how we dispose of used and broken inventory, and updating some different SOPs or creating ones if they weren't in place. And then we're looking to fill our custodian position right now. All the rest of my positions are filled.
Desiree, we'll go on to Kelly.
All right. So it's nice to actually have time to talk about some things in the report this time. So lots of outreach efforts have been happening. I'm still doing ads for Coffee News and promoting Sunday service and promoting the Park and Ride and the shuttle. We're in the Main Street online newsletter. I've done a few print ads in the PDN and the PT Leader. And in all of these ads, I'm promoting that we're open 7 days a week, Sunday service, and really trying to promote June as Ride Transit Month. It's a good marketing thing to promote people riding the transit. Let's see, we are also in the PT Leader map ad, which will be released on June 24th. So I promoted the shuttle because that's more base for Port Townsend and it has a map on it. So that is good. We're in KPTZ for the first time since I've been working here. We just did a contract with them, so we'll have 2 spots a week for 52 weeks, and we get to have 3 different scripts. So the first one is, again, generally about 7 days a week, open on Sundays, riding the bus at 0 fare. So we just kind of monitor that and maybe change it up in the fall and then change it again, just determining what we're doing. I'm continuing to do Sunday service promotions.
I got a question about the spots. How long is a spot?
30 seconds.
Thanks.
So I put a little script together and then sent it to them, and they cut out a tiny part to make it fit within the script. So yeah, I haven't heard it on the radio yet, but I'm excited to hear it.
We should tell you that the commissioners have a weekly segment on KPTZ. It'll be on hiatus through the month of July, but if there's ever something like a release of a plan or a release of a new schedule or something that you really want to promote and get out in the community, I'm sure that one of us, I would be, I mean, any of us would be happy to have you on the radio with us. It's a 25-minute segment.
Oh, you guys got a lot more time. Okay.
Fridays at
Every
12.
Friday.
Fridays at 12:30.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll definitely.
Lots of good bus songs too.
Lots of good ones.
We get to play out to a song.
I've been doing lots of Sunday service promotion. I feel like our social media has been getting really good engagement. I did a paid ad for May for Sunday service, and it had 20,000 views and
Wow.
450 engagement. And got us 14 more followers. So really great engagement on Facebook. We still have the banner up at Haynes Place stating that we're running 7 days a week. And I just put flyers out in the buses, well, I personally put them instead. And then we're hanging them up around the tri-area, Port Hadlock and Port Townsend on the distribution boards. Let's see what else. We did reach out to 20 local churches and talk to them about running Sunday service. 11 of them did respond and say they wanted schedules, so we have dropped those off. We added a farmer's market page to our webpage and a concerts on the dock to help people get to both of those events. We're partnering with Main Street for Concerts on the Dock, so we're really invested in working with them to promote people going to concerts on the bus and going to the farmer's market. So we have special maps showing people what routes they can take and how to get there, so it's a lot easier. Let's see. I hope that you guys were able to see the blog article in the Olympic Peninsula Visitor Bureau and the map. I've worked very hard on that map brochure showing
It
how
was
to
so
get around
great.
the peninsula on transit, and it's been a big hit everywhere. So we're promoting that. All the agencies are working on promoting it, and we're trying to figure out how to get some printed so we can get them out there as well. We had the Roadie Grand Parade in May. We decorated the bus. It was real pretty, and that was a fun event to do. And Amy mentioned Pressure Truck, which we also enjoyed being at. So upcoming, I signed up for a few farmers markets. So we're going to do some Wednesday markets and a couple Saturdays and a Sunday market. So if you're in the area, you'll see us there. And we're partnering with Main Street for Concerts on the Dock. So we're coming up with a plan to entice people to ride the bus to the concerts, and they're going to help us promote doing that. We have All County Preparedness Day that we'll be at on June 27th, and the fair is coming up in August. And the last part of my report, I just wanted to kind of highlight again some Facebook stats. It's kind of cool to see all of the numbers. I just did May for this one. And we got 37 new followers in May. So I think we're killing it on Facebook and social media. We get a lot of engagement there. So that's all that I have to share.
Great, a lot going on. Any questions?
Can
for
I
Kelly?
can I just reiterate the blog that Kelly wrote for Olympic Peninsula Tourism Commission's newsletter I do encourage everyone to read it. Not only is it really useful, like I've actually referenced it a few times and sent it to visitors who I know are coming this summer. It's just really useful, and it's got some excellent advice and tools in it. But it also was a extraordinarily generous offering to our partners across the peninsula. And Kelly really highlighted very equitably, Clallam Transit and Mason and Grace Harbor, and really just was a great steward and a great partner in the community. So I just want to really thank you for the way that you kind of held the whole Olympic Peninsula together. It was just an excellent offering and a great tool. Thank you.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, any other questions for any of the staff?
Do you guys have a bulletin board for staff here?
Yes.
Do you have one of these posted for Preparedness Day? Here's a couple of things to post.
Okay.
There's an exciting free food thing happening where they're gonna cook meals for people for 2 weeks at the Tri-Area Community Center. And that's talking about that. Anyway.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're back to our second public comment period. I don't know if we have any public with us, but I'll open it up for public comment. If anyone would like to make a statement to the board, we'd love to hear it. You can hit the raise hand button or star 9 if you're on the phone, or physical hand. Oh, let's bring Linda over. Got our tag chair.
Linda?
Welcome.
You guys
We're
hear
not
me?
here. Oh, we can hear you now. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Oh, great. Hey, I just wanted to say thanks for a great presentation on the Haynes Place Transit Center redesign. Really appreciate all the work that was done by the consultants. There was one comment that stuck with me, though, I wanted to bring to everyone's attention, and that was a comment made about discouraging pedestrians from going through the bus loops. Obviously, a good thing. I'd love to see something, though, along the flip side, which would be how do we encourage pedestrians and cyclists to go the right way? Just looking at the locations of the crosswalks and other things like that, the flow seemed a little choppy. So a sense of entry, a sense of experience, things like that that really promote that this is the right way to go rather than just discouraging that entrance would be really nice to see in the final design. That's it for me.
Linda. Great. And I think flow is, I mean, we heard it talked about, but I take your point, and I think that'll walk it.
Yeah.
Yep. Great. Does anyone else have a public comment to make today? You can hit the raise hand button or *9 if you're on the phone.
There's no other hands up online that I'm seeing.
Okay. Well, it looks like we might get out. We've got staff reports and we're all done with our business with a few minutes to spare. So I guess I will.
Send Nicole to Italy more often, I guess.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, she hasn't had enough time to work it up for us. All right. No, it's great. Good meeting everyone. Really excited to see the Haynes Street design. And with that, we are adjourned. We'll see everyone on July 20. Oh, I should.
21st.
21st. Okay. Same time, same place. Have a good week, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Yeah.